Hello, Internet. Well, today is going to be an interesting day. We're taking the Hyper e-bike around the gnarly trails. It's going to be a wet run today. My skills aren't quite good enough for some of that sometimes. So listen, I got these mountain bike glasses, and then they got the clip-ons where you put your prescription on the inside. Well, it's been 2 weeks and I'm not used to them yet. Still feels like I'm drunk. Looks like Bob's been working on his trail. Super wet, super gnarly. Son of a bitch. A tree just fell on my head. Fuck. So that was wild. That's happened before up here. So you gotta watch out for that stuff. You're kind of on your own when it comes to that. That's anywhere in Oregon. But so this is it. A muddy loop on the Hyper E. I've been getting so much shit for buying this thing from the dedicated high spenders. Like, oh, you get what you pay for. Well, so far so good. Look at that water. That's gonna be a gnarly loop. I don't know how much water e-bikes can handle. Guess we're gonna find out how much the Hyper E can handle. I might end up having to walk this thing out. Wouldn't that be fun? It's like, no, that would not be fun. If anybody's got any idea on how long it takes to get used to a new prescription, let me know in the comments, because this sucks royally. See how full the lake is today. It's nice. Oh, look at there. Hey there. Quack, quack. Oh, there's some beavers out there. We'll just motor by these guys. How you doing there, fellers? Let's give everybody a look at this. That's the downside of the dam. That's the spout. You could tell they're releasing water now. There's Daffy and his buddies. There it is. There's the lake. It's kind of mystic, isn't it? Look at the clouds down there. All right, well, off we go. I don't know, I thought today maybe, I don't usually talk about myself a bunch, but we'll give it a go. Anyways, so I started my mountain biking when I bought my first mountain bike right after I got married, probably in 83, 82, a Univega. It was like $700 back there. It was a hardtail, you know. I didn't have suspension back then. And then I don't know if they even had sizes. I was like a small or a medium. Rode that a lot to help train for, I guess I should tell you, I used to ride dirt bikes. Grew up in Southern California, where my dad was a desert racer, and he actually worked his way up to District 36. I think it was number 13 before he decided to hang it up, back when they rode Triumphs. And then the two-strokes were just coming into the scene. So anyways, my dad had a friend also he tuned for, and he was a AMA expert, and he some of you might know him, Al Hawley from Northridge. He was 23R, and Dad and him, went through the whole scene together. They had, back then it was amateur and expert. There was no novice junior. So they went through the whole thing where you got to get your transfer points and, become expert. And that's what Al did. So in the meantime, my dad worked down at 23rd and Vermont down in LA. He worked for a company called Film Transport. And at that point, he, for some reason, he just decided, get the hell out of LA. So he packed us all up, and we moved to Grants Pass. Shit, probably in 69. I think it was maybe 12 or something. I don't know. And that's a whole nother thing. School was, I never was into school. I hated it. And in LA, we had teacher strikes, and I didn't go to school a lot. So school was never really good for me. But back to sports. Let's talk about sports. Grants Pass had this little track called Sunny Valley outside of Grants Pass, about 14 miles out north of Grants Pass off the freeway. And that's where I learned how to really ride a motorcycle. Sure, I was doing, Dad take me out to the desert down in Mojave and stuff. We do that. But flat tracking was a little different. Dad never wanted us to flat track. I have a brother. He never wanted either one of us, because he'd tell me the stories about Elliott Schultz getting, decapitated at Ascot, all that stuff. And, but since I grew up around there, that's all I wanted to be. One of them guys, So when we moved to Grants Pass, the focus was pretty much on my brother and his friend Jeff Johnson, the Oregon Jeff Johnson, and they started, going for their. Hang on, we'll talk in a minute. Hey there, coming through. So, meanwhile, let me back up a little bit. So first of all, I was like 15 years old, and I sprouted to like 6 foot tall. And then when you're 15, you get to ride the kids class. So I'm riding the kids class on a fucking Yamaha 80. And I remember Les Costanza's dad tells my dad, oh hey, he tells my dad, he says, your kid looks like a monkey fucking a football. So he gave me a 200 Bultaco. So I started riding that, and I wasn't very good. I think I got last, Meanwhile, the family's focusing on Jeff and my brother, pro. They were turning pro. And then out of the blue, a friend of ours from LA calls me up, and I'm like 16 or whatever, and says, I got a Triumph you can have. So I grabbed a friend of mine and we fucking went down to LA and picked that thing up. Changed my life, you know. I mean, let's put it this way. It changed my life. I went from finishing last to getting like third in the season points, and we actually winning a high point at White City, a half mile, within 2 years on the bike. I won my first race on that bike wearing orange coveralls at Medford Speedway. The bike had a magneto, and I think I was able to hold the bike wide open because you go around the corners, it would run on 2 cylinders, or it would run on 1 cylinder, and then you just tip the bike up, go down the straightaway, and it'd kick up on 2. So I never had to shut the throttle off. It was like having a what do they call them? Anyways, I could just hold the thing wide open. It was a high bank quarter-mile short track, and I won it. I was so happy. So that happened, and then we moved again. Then we moved to some podunk fucking little town called Myrtle Creek. So I tried to continue my racing and did. My brother, I think he moved to LA after we moved back up. He moved back, he stopped racing. The other Jeff quit racing. So I decided, what the hell? So I built myself this 350. I work in the sawmill. I lied about my age. I was like 17. I said I was 18. And I built this 350 Honda. Put $6,000 in it in 1976. It was a Bill Bell motor. It was a Trackmaster. I think I might have had the first one because he hadn't even had a core motor to build the center port frames yet. I get the bike done. I race it. I figured I'd race it a couple races in 76 and then do a full run in 77 just to get, used to the bike and the scene. So I get to have a really good year on the bike. Made a ton of money, racing semi-pro and stuff. And the AMA says, hey, you know what? No more 354 strokes. It's going to be all 252 strokes. No twins, just 252 strokes. So I just stick my hard life savings into building this bike. So now I have to start all over. And here it is. I'm making $6 an hour in a mill. No help from nobody. My parents were all in with my brother, and when he quit, it was just they were fine with the amateur scene, but the pro scene, it was just a little too much. So anyways, I start working at this Honda shop in Roseburg. And I meet a guy named Steve Hellican. He's got a CR250 motor. He's got a whole bike, actually. And he said, hey, you want to build a frame or, use my motor? So I call the guys up at C&J. They send me a frame. I got mole and suspension. The bike was awesome. It weighed 193 pounds with a half a tank of gas. I love that bike. So I needed like, you need 40 points. And I needed 2 more points in this because the season was done. I didn't even get the bike done until halfway through the year. So I thought, what the hell, let's go to Ascot. I didn't have much hopes. So we go to Ascot, and damned if I don't qualify for the main out of the heat and get my expert points. My junior points. And as far as the main goes, that's a whole nother story. My brother says, oh, they're tilling it, or you're gonna go faster in the main. And the whole time I'm watching them till the track up. And I'm thinking, faster? Looks like I better put we're gonna go slower. Sure enough, I fucking let the clutch off and the bike just bogs. It won't even pull the gear he put on, and I didn't even think about running it in, try to shift it and all that. But it was too late, because at Ascot, if you don't get the scratch, you ain't going nowhere. So, but nevertheless, I made the main, the first Honda 2-stroke to make a main event at Ascot. Belongs to me. So after that, oh hell, I don't know, seems like life was just chaos. And then I had part-time jobs to try to be a racer, and my brother has this great idea. I thought I'd just race at Sidewinders in Castle Rock and just be a local guy. So he has this great idea to come on down there, work, and race at Ascot. Mind you, I don't even have a bike at this time, so I'm hustling to find a bike. Finally, we find this Triumph. It's an old one. It was one of Mark Williams' old bikes. It was all geared right and to do everything right. And I went to Ascot, and the first night, I did all right. I had a front row start. Got a third in my heat, and that night they decided to only take 2. So, okay, whatever. After that, it was like they only take 2 or 3, and I was getting fourth. First alternate to everything, always. So finally, Tulare rolls around, and it's a regional. Big event. Everybody's there. Wayne Rainey, Ray Dugan. Lots of heavy hitters. Mike Enderbitson. So I get like a second in my heat, so good. Straight transfer to the main, front row start. So that's a good deal. So we take off, and I kind of got just waxed on the start because I'm on the inside. I had the last pick, and on the front row, and it's pretty deep. I go down the back stretch, and this guy in his Harley goes blowing by me and fucking goes into turns 3 and just fucking sails it. Fucking cartwheeling. Gets smacked by the guys in front of me. I hit him. So they black and red flag the race. When I hit him, I knocked the bracket off my exhaust pipe. So there's a big hole in my exhaust pipe, so it's making a weird noise. So the race gets started again. And I think I'm running, 5th or 6th. And it's just a horrible track. You're going through tear-offs, every lap or more. So then they score me for 3rd. I thought I got 4th. Anyways, I was really stoked. It was a big race. World champion Wayne Rainey won it. Dugan got 2nd. So here I am. I finally have a top 3 at a big race. And then the next big thing was they didn't allow juniors on the mile anymore because of all the deaths the years previously. So this year they decided to make it an invitational. And by golly, there I am. 7th in points on the West Coast with some pretty good heavy hitters. So we go to San Jose, and my Triumph's just not up for the match. I had to override it, and went off the groove and didn't qualify. So after that was Boise. There we go. Now we're talking. That's my shit. So I go there, and I'm just fucking rocking. I'm super confident. And so I set fast time. And the last guy to go out is this guy, Lou Alter. He's a local. So he goes out, beats my time, and at the same time hits a neutral and slams into his tree and breaks a leg. So that rotates me into the pole position. So that's cool. So I get in the trophy dash. There's Robinson and there's Deloria. And I'm leading it and pretty much pulling away. And then fucking hit a neutral. So everybody gets by me, like 4 guys. So I work my way back up to second and, get ready for the main event. I'm starting on the pole in the main event because I set fast time. So I get the start behind Robinson and he's just putting along him. It's like, fuck, I can't do this anymore. So about 3 laps in, I'm gonna make my move. So I come off the straightaway and I go to hit neutral to fucking go underneath him, or hit downshift and then slam it to go underneath him, and I hit a neutral. So I drop back a couple positions, work my way back up to 4th, and that's where I finish. So after that was the next regional at Castle Rock, or I think it was Portland. I think I got a 5th there. But then the next one, Castle Rock. That was a good one. It's between, I win my heat going away. I mean, going away. Just fine. My dad's leaning over the fence saying, slow down. I mean, I'm just fucking smoking. So, Winsowitz on a Harley wins the fast heat. I'm second. So, fuck. So, we start, and I get a scratch from hell, and I'm just gonna leave, right? And I go around I go to go on the right-hander and go to grab 3rd. Oh no, I fucking grabbed a handful of throttle heading towards the right-hander and about high-sided. So I get into this huge tank slapper and the whole field goes by me. And it's like, damn it. So I put my head down, bust my ass, and I actually worked my way up to 3rd place. I actually saw Brown, so I caught Brown. And that was pretty exciting. So the next week I had to get a job, and I can't afford this stuff. And I mean, we're talking $75, $110, for 3rd. So I get this job, and they gotta work Friday nights. Well, Friday nights that's our gig, Sidewinders. So I get off work early. And and it was a Castle Rock race. And I'm doing well. Qualified well, front row, leading and then they said I jumped the start. Whatever. Because I was getting really good starts. I always do. I go back from the 2nd row. I go around there. Go around the right hand. I pass like 6 guys. And then some guy's bike goes right in front of me. And I ended up wheeling over the bike, at a high rate of speed. Just fucking launched. I did this big old wheelie. And then they red flag the race because, everybody's down. And I ride around the track and the bike feels weird. And then Frank Word comes up to me and says, dude, you got to park that thing. And I look and my front wheel's bent in. Almost, the forks are bent. I mean, almost into the motor. So I had a friend who was riding my 250 swap out the forks and get it ready for the next heat race. Well, we didn't even think about putting air in the forks. It just didn't work. And we were getting ready for the semi, and I was going a lot faster than them guys, and so I'm smoking around them, and this guy at a Grants Pass just cuts my front wheel off, and I go flying over the handlebars. Tom Pappas runs over me. There's like 6 of us in the ambulance, and they had to cut my outfit off, and they thought I had internal injuries, all that crap. I was in the center. Tommy almost lost his foot. He had to go to Europe to have him sew it back on. But yeah, it was pretty gnarly. So it took me a little while to heal from that. And we got back on the road in like 6 weeks. We went to Bellevue, Kansas. And